Hello everyone, Mike of MMA with Friends here for another Fireside chat, guys. Um, got some good stuff burning back here behind me. So a little kindling on the fire. Get that going a little bit, and then of course you get a little bit of that, little bit of devil's spit. You want to really get it going. Woo! It is hard to keep a fire going in Seattle, guys. It is a wet place, but that means we should be safe. I'm not real worried about burning my yard down. I'm really not. It is so hard to keep a fire going here. I don't know if you could burn your yard down. I suppose if you tried hard enough. I guess you could. But what's going on, everybody? We got anybody in here in the chat yet? Thanks everybody who tuned in yesterday. Guys, come on, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. On fire over here. I hope I'm finding you all healthy, wealthy, and wise. I got to use one of my kids' phones to look at the comments here. But I am on the comments, guys. And how long will this chat last? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like it's a 5-beer chat and a little bit of coffee. And somewhere I flicked my bottle opener somewhere, though, so I might have to call on the magnificent young David to go get me a damn bottle opener. I had everything else ready for the chat. Crazy news today. Daniel Cormier said he would like to take over Dana White's spot when he's done as commissioner. Ex-UFC welterweight contender Dan Hardy talks about possible opponents. He is back in the USADA testing mix, and gosh, guys, quite a bit of news actually. For there not being any fights going on right now. A league called Future FC MMA. They're supposed to be having some fights soon. 5 people up in the chat. What's up? Yes, nice view. Thank you. And that's why I was asked before. I said, you know, did we take it all for granted? And my thinking started today for a stream was, you know, we would talk about, hey, what's up, C the G? I hope you're doing well. Adam from Allen. Hello, Mike. Glad you're enjoying the outdoors. I do too. Absolutely, man. You know, so my thought was, did we take it all for granted? And those are some of the things that I was thinking about, you know, some people's jobs, live concerts we were going to, the UFC that I was actually supposed to be scheduled at right now. I'm actually supposed to be in Portland at a UFC right now. I had tickets for it. And that was, of course, canceled. But I started thinking, you know, we need to be thankful for what we got when we come back. You know, don't take it for granted this time. And then my mind really started to shift a lot. And I said, I think, you know, I think maybe I'm being a bit selfish here. Or maybe I'm just not being grateful at all. Because one thing we do sometimes, we go in, we watch our shows, we watch our sports, we do whatever. We do whatever. We're in watching TV, we're in doing sometimes things that don't make any sense, or we're just driving around shopping for crap we don't need. And then I come out here, I take for granted my beautiful view of these mountains. We're so fortunate here in Seattle. I'm sure you guys have a lot to be thankful in the areas that you're in. And I'm grateful for, for this community, for my family, for my health. So I don't think this is a time for us to feel sorry for ourselves at all. I think this is a time to enjoy the things that we've been ignoring. And honestly, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I think that there's a possibility. There's a time comes, you're going to be having a tough day at work. You're going to be having a tough day somewhere, or you're just going to be working a long stretch, and you're going to be saying, man, remember the good old days when we didn't have to go to work? Remember when we were in quarantine and all we had to do was go outside and enjoy nature? Because that's pretty much all we're supposed to do. It's no mass gatherings, no this, that. This is, this is what people did for years and decades. You guys are smart, you know that. But that's in our DNA: farming and hunting, and fire, and fighting is too. Absolutely. And what would the world be without coffee? I don't know, but. We got this. We got everything. I was talking to my daughter and I said, imagine, some people are pretty stressed out over this and pretty lost. And I've definitely had some sleepless nights. I'm not going to say I haven't. But I started thinking the other way. I woke up in a really good mood. And I told her, I said, think about if you were in 1918. Man, it is really windy all of a sudden. Think about if you were in 1918 during the Spanish flu. And they go back and they show that a lot of the same things were happening that are happening now during the Tony Khabib epidemic. And taping off on the floor, only a few people inside shops at a time, many shops shut down, many shops out of business. You didn't have TV, you didn't have internet, maybe a few people had a radio. Most people didn't even have telephone to be able to communicate with each other. They were scared. They had no way of getting the news. And now sometimes, you don't want to listen to the news. I don't really. But, it's there. We're not completely in the dark. We have internet. We still have a lot of TV. We don't have sports. So what? So what we don't have UFC 249? It's going to happen. Fights are going to happen. Sports are going to happen. Baseball will be back. Basketball will be back. Football will be back. And when we go back to that, are we going to forget about this? Are we going to forget about the trees outside? Or are we going to forget about campfires and nights just talking with the family, playing board games, playing whatever it is that you might be doing? And feel free to jump in, guys, right now. What is your situation right now? I want to know what your guys' situation is. If you have a request of something to talk about or just something that you're grateful for, let me know what's going on in that area. Here in Washington, they're telling us we are beating the curve. We're 60% below expectations for this thing. And the last stay-at-home order was May 4th. I hope to God that everything's dropped May 4th. But I will tell you, I'm going to get in my car in 11 days and I'm going to go to Eastern Washington. I'm going to visit my family. My parents want me to come over. They are in their 60s. They're in their early 60s. They're in very good health. And they said, we would be mad if you didn't come over. We're healthy. We work out. We eat good. We're not going to be scared of this thing. You took this vacation. We need to see you. We want to see you. Bring the kids down. We want to see you. Do not stay at home. And is that a good thing, a bad thing? I'm not encouraging people to go out and break the law or anything like that. I don't want to get in trouble here. But, we are going to have to go back to living our lives. And this is living. I live in Maine on 26 acres of land. I've never appreciated it more than now. Wow. Congrats, C the G. I'm happy for you. That is awesome, man. I've never been to Maine, but I definitely want to go. What should I check out in Maine? I know it's not the biggest city. I don't hear a whole lot about it. But if I was to go to Maine, what's the one thing I have to check out, or what's the one restaurant I have to go to, or the site I have to see. You know, this appreciation. I've been planning this for a while. One of these days, I want to go with my wife and my family, and I want to visit all the 50 states. Well, all 49. I don't count Florida as part of the United States. Kind of scares the crap out of me. But the other 49, yeah. I've only gotten a few down. But not bad out here, but it's still got everything shut down. I'm lucky not to be working, so I'm only get bored on the weekends. Me too, man. I did not think I would be so happy to be working, because I'm working less. I'm working, you know, 35. I worked 35 or 36 hours, I don't know, last week. Much less than I have been for a while. And I got well, I got rested. My energy is way higher than it's been in a long time. And man, I'll tell you, I wouldn't mind going back to that. I don't think that's going to happen. I want business to do well, don't get me wrong. But just working that, just only working 35 hours a week, I've had so much more time and energy. I've been out here working in the yard, killed a bunch of stuff. We're building some flower beds, putting a garden back here. The deer have came back. The deer have came back. The birds have came back. We're getting some bird feeders out here, and I'll go to the chat. We are famous for our Red Lobster. I have been to Red Lobster. It's pretty good. What about Texas? Yes, typical Saturday, shoot hoops, play on the tractor, drink some beer, and shoot hoops. I just bought a new basketball finally. I've had a hoop sitting out here in front of my house, and I have 2 teenage kids, and we had not used that basketball hoop in well over a year. We have a good sized driveway. I mean, yeah, I can roll across the street in the neighbor's yard, but we're in a real rural area. We don't have to worry about a lot of traffic or anything like that. I mean, you can hear the birds. I don't know if the speaker's picking up the birds, but you can hear all the birds here. Like I said, the deers are coming back, and I can hear the coyotes at night. The owls are out, coming after my cat again. But you know, it's been very nice. Some of the positives of this: cleaner air, so much, you know, with so much less cars on the street, different things going on. You know, I got well pretty quickly. Like I said, my asthma and allergies not really bothering me much right now. The air is super clear. You can really see the stars at night. A lot of times you can't here in Seattle. And I walk out my front door, and I mean, you're just looking at the constellation. I'm like the Little Dipper, turn around the Big Dipper. There's Orion's Belt. And I mean, it's just right in your face. And I can see all the way to the lake from my front yard. I can see the lake of Lake Stevens in the morning. And I used to, when I first moved in here, I would wake up before work every single morning. And I would be grateful, and I'd sit out there, sometimes by myself, sometimes with my wife or my kids, but I would just drink my cup of coffee, and I would sit out and I'd look at the lake and I'd just relax just for 15-20 minutes, get my heart rate down, get my, you know, my mind moving for the day. And I didn't do that for a very long time, literally years. It's kind of that's just kind of sad. Instead, you know, I'm watching a TV show for 30 minutes before I go, or, you know, whatever it is. What's up, JJ Smith in the house? How's it going? Torin Brown, good to see you, my friend. What's up, Adam? Shout out to everybody. I want to give some credit. I know that some of you guys, some of the people in the stream, you guys deliver for DoorDash, Grubhub, and some of these delivery driver places, Uber and all this stuff. Shout out to you guys for going out there and delivering everybody's food right now when we're in this crisis. I just imagine that's got to be pretty stressful. People that are working in the medical fields, of any of you, double shout out to you guys. What's up? Beautiful day. Yes, it is a beautiful day. We're not going to have rain for a week. Why should I be inside? Why should I be inside looking at my phone, looking for stupid things to do in my house when, yeah, we got all this. We got the trees. I have a great view of Mount Baker over here. you know, it's a big mountain and just, you know, trees for miles on this way. I got a green belt behind me. They built, a few years ago, they built a subdivision behind me. But we were fortunate enough that they have to have a green belt in so many areas. So they actually put the green belt right behind my house. I might have encouraged them a little bit, the workers that were out there and some people about that. But we're fortunate we got that green belt so people can only get so close to us. My neighbors on this side, you can't see it over here, but they got bamboo 12 feet high, so I can barely see their house. They're pretty secluded. My friend over here that owns some local restaurants, shout out to Tony and Papa's Grill. His restaurants have been shut down for a while. He's doing very good with that though, and we got these shrubs here. You know, we got a natural fence line here, but we got an opening, so when we're out in our yards, we're not ignoring each other. He's a great guy, so he'll come out here and we'll chat while we're working on our yards or having barbecue or, you know, whatever, and catch up. Shouldn't be inside. Enjoy the fresh air. Yep, I work for UPS. Been there 4 years. Oh, UPS. Why did I say UPS? That was stupid. UPS. Wow. That's got to be crazy, Torn. I have a friend that's working for, I think he's working for FedEx. Now he's getting with UPS. It's anyways one of those situations, and he hurt his shoulder really bad. He's been out for a little while, and he's trying to get with, I think he's trying to get on with UPS, and he was on with FedEx. But yeah, he was telling me, man, it's just tearing his body up, and he's not been doing it a whole long time. 4 years, I'm sure you've got some stories to tell. Without a doubt. I'm gonna make a call to young David and try to get a bottle opener out here though. I got one of these, you know, my daughter's phone. Get one of these phones that's got no buttons. These newer phones, it drives me friggin' nuts. I just have to get used to it though. That's all. Just gotta get used to it. We'll give young David a call. He's busy. He's actually, he's working to better himself. He's working on some college stuff. My daughter's up doing some art, some beautiful art. I am so proud of her. She's doing some amazing art. She's gonna be selling in Seattle this summer. Also gonna put some of those pieces up here on the show because, I mean, it is absolutely amazing. I don't just say that because she's my daughter. I asked her to make a couple of the pieces for me, some of the paintings and things. I asked her if she could make them bigger so I could put them up in the office. You know, spring cleaning. My wife's been motivated, you know, teacher, been out and finding things I hadn't been able to find. I have an autograph poster from the champ, my favorite fighter, Stipe Miocic, and I never even got it put up because it got misplaced in the living room. It got shipped and somebody misplaced it in there, maybe even me, and I hadn't seen it for a long time. She found that today. That made me happy, so I got to put that up. Hopefully, you know, Cormier and Stipe will be fighting soon. That's my hope, that everybody's going to be fighting soon, whether it be on Fight Island, whether it be on a Native American reservation. I would prefer it just be, you know, in a normal place. I wouldn't mind seeing a few more shows without the crowd, to be honest. I do like the crowd, for sure, but no crowd is something I'd like to see a little bit more of too. Because I'm not saying it's better, but it's different. Because you can hear the punches, you can hear the kicks, you can hear the fighters talking, the corners, the cornerman. I know you guys have talked to some about the cornerman. What do you have, Mike? What's up, JJ Smith? I got a few beers. Well, oh, what do I got here? I got, this is some good stuff. I wish I'd have gotten more of this. There is a specialty beer shop over in Seattle. And I got this winter ale. It's called Slayer, seasonal release, 7.2% alcohol by volume. Ninkasi Brewing Company, out of Ninkasi Brewing Company in Oregon. It's very delicious. It is a delicious beer. Problem is, I have misplaced my bottle opener, and I was trying to get young David bring me out a bottle. What's up? No need to fear, the time bender is here. Good to see you, Billy Hughes. What is up, man? Kind of like it without the crowd because you can hear more of the pop with the punches and kicks. Hear more of the coaches also. Yeah, everybody's always happy to see Billy. So sweet. Shout out Theron Nelson. Theron Nelson, are you out there? I've seen Theron Nelson. He's been out there doing a lot of work. He's put up some videos on Facebook. And if you follow us on the Facebook Fights to Friends channel, I'm not really posting up any links right now because on the mobile, it's just not, it's not as easy. But stir this fire up a little bit, get this thing moving. Down for a minute. I got a crap load of fast burning stuff. We got all the slow burning stuff in the bottom. Let's get some fast burning crap up in. Oh, some of the stuff's got some pokies on it and some blackberry bushes. Don't be an idiot, Mike. Need my gloves. Need my gloves. There we go. Now we can dump a bunch of this crap. This should keep that fire busy for a moment or two. Woo! Just gotta burn through that kindling stuff, and there we go. Now we got some fire. A little bit of fire on the ground too. Like I said, it's pretty damn hard. Pretty damn hard to light your yard on fire in Seattle. So I'm not extremely worried. Don't freak out. Don't think I'm gonna lose my house or anything. There's so much humidity in the air here. It's yeah, those flames are going good now though. That makes me happy. But yeah, I was just talking for the people who came in and says, you know, we took it. I said, you know, did we take it all for granted? And I was talking about, I had been thinking about, did we take for granted, you know, the live concerts, the sports and different things. But then I started thinking, it's like, man, for a long time, this is what I've been taking for granted. Is the outdoors. Beautiful scenery, barbecues, family time. We do get family time, but, you know, sometimes family time watching TV is not the same as family time outside eating barbecue, enjoying a fire, having some s'mores, roasting hot dogs. Time is it in Seattle right now, Torn? It is 7:05 Pacific. The sun is not scheduled to set for about an hour and a half. So we should get a nice sunset behind us over the mountains here. Seattle reminds me of Canada for some reason. I don't know why. Oh yeah, well, it's, you know, a lot of Canada's pretty close to us. I mean, I'm only 60 miles away from Canada. So yeah, it's a lot of the same scenery. I'm not actually in Seattle. I only say Seattle. You know, lately I started saying Seattle Mike because people just don't know this area. I'm in a rural area about 30 miles outside of Seattle, technically unincorporated. Closest towns are Snohomish and Lake Stevens, but I like a little bit of privacy. Don't like my neighbors too close or too many of them. And that way when I'm yelling about fights, you know, from upstairs and you can hear me, you know, a mile away, there's only 5 or 6 people I have to explain that to. It's like Texas reminds me of Mexico. Hey, they are very close. Very close. Hey, we're all one planet, right? We're all one planet. We're all one sun, one earth, one, you know, all look up at the same stars at night. all have dirt in between our toes when we walk outside. Or sand, you know, might be a little different depending on where you're at, but there's beaches everywhere, there's trees everywhere. Hey. And I imagine there's beauty everywhere. There's beauty everywhere. Who here lives in a desert area? I lived in a desert area for quite a while, and I will admit I miss some of that. I don't think I'd trade it for this. California is also close to Mexico. Florida is close to Cuba. Yeah, I'm not interested in going to Florida. Not scared of many things, dude, but Florida is just, I'm not interested. Those people are nuts, dude. Those people are absolutely, if you're from Florida, I'm sure I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about most of the other ones, but man, I stayed out of Arizona for a few months. Damn, I wish I had a nice yard like that, an apartment complex. So I'm not even going outside right now. You'll get there, Captain. I'm sure you've been there. I was in apartments for years, man. So when this is over, you know, go with your family or neighbors or whatever. But yeah, I didn't like apartments either, man. That sucks. Hopefully, you know, the National Guard in your area is at least letting you walk around the block. I don't know, has the National Guard been around you guys lately? Like I said earlier, we're actually doing pretty good here in Seattle as far as the curve. They had built a makeshift hospital in Safeco Field. It's one of our fields. It's either where the Seahawks play, which is Quest, or Safeco where the Mariners play. For some reason, I can't remember which right now. And I know they've changed when they've changed businesses or whatever. It's Safeco to me, though, for Mariners. It always will be. I just can't keep up with the stupid businesses. Oh, and we got one down again. Hit that like button. Hit that damn like button. Poke you with my fire stick. No, they sent that makeshift hospital to Seattle. To California. We didn't even need it. We didn't need it. It was supposed to be for overflow for people that weren't being treated for the virus, to make sure other hospitals didn't get overran, and it never took one patient. It's off in California now. I bet Connor somehow leapfrogs Justin G into a title shot. Shmeh. Very possible, man. Very possible. And you see Ariel Helwani is clamoring. He is clamoring for Khabib versus Connor 2 to be next. He's like, oh, Tony should fight. He needs the money. And a Khabib Connor fight, yeah, it's not what's in the rankings, but it's so much bigger for the UFC. It's what makes sense. It's like, dude, could you sell out a little more quietly? I mean, I like Ariel sometimes, some of the things he does and stuff, but it's like that really, I did not like that at all. Really rubbed me the wrong way. It was, I mean, I guess at least he was transparent. He wasn't hiding his favoritism too much for what's going on, but damn. That's what we do now. Me and my girlfriend sit out having a few drinks and having a fire. Beautiful. And I still have no idea where my bottle opener is. Oh, it's probably been in my damn pocket this whole time. I got so much shit in my pocket. Watch this, it's gonna be in my pocket. I got lighters and matches and keys and flashlight from that. Brung out in case it gets dark again like last night. My AirPods. The wind was picking up there for a minute, and I thought I might have to put the AirPods in to get some decent sound, but want to see Max Holloway at 155 really soon. Like now, forget about rematching Alexander. I believe Holloway has done enough at 145. He looked very small. I was surprised. I did not expect him to look so small against Dustin. And I mean, can he grow into 155? I don't know. There's some big guys there, though. There's some big guys there. And honestly, I mean, I don't know if Connor comes back to 155. He didn't look small for 170. You guys seen him. Everybody's seen him. And Connor did not look small for 170. I mean, he was thick. Boy was thick. Dustin was too big for Dustin in the rematch. Absolutely. Pop the beer with your lighter. Uh, I've known people over the years that have been able to do like what's called the curb stomp, all kinds of things. I've never been able to pop open beers with anything but a good bottle opener. And young David's not answering. Mike, you should grow. um, oh yeah, grow some cilantro in that shed. I was thinking about that. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like I said, I get Connor brings a lot of money to the UFC, but come on, man, you got contenders busting their asses. Get the deserving contenders their shot. Absolutely. Hey, I've talked about this till I'm blue in the face. I 100% agree with you, Torrin. I just want him to go by the rankings as they are. I'm a purist. I like entertainment. I like watching Connor fight, but yeah, let him earn it. Yes, cilantro. Don't be smoking too much of that cilantro. I'm gonna go try to find that bottle opener, guys. I promise. I don't know if I should leave this alone. This is yeah, stir this up, get a little more oxygen in this fire. Woo! Got some smoke on the ground. Here we go. Now we got our fire going. All right, guys, I'm gonna go get a bottle opener. If this thing tips over and lights my yard on fire, call 911. Just kidding. But honestly, I have no idea where my damn bottle opener is, so I'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. That wasn't very good. That wasn't very well planned. Young David, I left the bottle opener out. Young David actually put it back where it belongs. Imagine that. What was he thinking? tell him to put it back where it belongs. And out of all the times, boy, put it back where it belongs. I've been saving up recycling. Been cleaning in the house, saving up recycling. Also, been cleaning up my mother-in-law's space. We had her living in the downstairs. Unfortunately, she passed away last week from pancreatic cancer. She'd been fighting it pretty valiantly for a year and a half. But finally it was just too much, and you know, she's out of misery, so we're going through some of her stuff. Obviously that's tough for my wife, but you know, we're finding things. Luckily we got a 3-story house. And who's that coming out? Are letting the dog out? I thought maybe young David was coming out. We just got a dog. Tank, come here, Tank. What's up, Tank? What's up, Tank? Come on, Tank. Come on, buddy. This dog is like the loneliest dog in the world. I don't know if you guys can see him running around. He's a big dog. But it's my buddy Tank. This is was my mother-in-law's dog. I don't think you guys can see him in here right now. But maybe seen him there for a minute. Hey, buddy. He misses her very much. They're gonna do keep giving Connor title shot after title shot. Like, man, what's the point of all these contenders fighting? For sure, man. Fight game isn't about who should get the fights. It's about who's profits more money and the bigger sales. Same thing happened at heavyweight. Francis should have fought for the... Well, Francis has already fought for the title once already. So I'm not as considerate when it comes to Francis as I am to Tony Ferguson. And you got to remember, he got his title shot. He was favored. He lost to Stipe like I thought he would. Then he was in that horrible do-nothing fight against Derek Lewis. And did the guy bounce back and come back an absolute wrecking machine? Do I think it seems like he held up his mental problems extremely impressively? All of that. All of that. But I'm okay with seeing DC Stipe 3 and then seeing Francis take on the winner of that. If Stipe was to win, you know, Stipe versus Francis, and then if DC was to win, it looks like he's most likely going to retire. That's what he says, and then, you know, you would have a vacant title. So I don't know if you're able to have Stipe come in there again. Maybe you have Francis fight somebody else, or, you know, whoever the number 1 and 2 contenders are. I'm not sure how that all is going to shake out. But there was a while that Stipe didn't even know if he was going to come back. He had a lot of eye injuries from that last fight. Jose Aldo, leap over fighters are 35 and don't deserve it, but he got it. How about that? Don Fry versus Tank Abbott. Hell yeah. Is that what's on Fight Pass right now? That was an incredible fight. I love that. Love that fight. You just don't like the facts I'm pointing at. There's also true facts. If the fight card was, he wouldn't have got a title shot. We should watch the old Pride fight cards. Thank you, Billy. Down for that, Billy. It's so weird. I'm not seeing people's posts on here. There's not a lot. Not a lot of posts on here. There's only 5 people in here right now. I imagine people are out doing things with their families or playing on Facebook. I don't know. You guys play on Facebook? Not you guys that are in here. You guys are the loyal cats. But yeah, I wanted to do some Pride fights. We did that first vote. I put up a vote for what fights you wanted to see, and I was going to do Pride Aftershock card. That was really the one I wanted to do, but I didn't want to push anybody in a certain direction. So, of course, that was one of the choices I had. Mike Tyson versus Michael Spinks, and then John Jones versus Daniel Cormier won. and you guys chose, oh, and Muhammad Ali. I had Muhammad Ali versus Sonny Liston one. I think I might have, and then Evander Holyfield versus Riddick Bowe. And you guys overwhelmingly chose Daniel Cormier versus John Jones one, and then nobody watched. Now, a few people watched, thank you guys, but it wasn't anything to write home about. That would be awesome. Today's Fight Pass was Griffin versus Bonner. Awesome every time. Yeah, I like how they're doing the scheduling thing where they go through the fights. I mean, you can search any fight anytime. But how many people have Fight Pass? I need to put up I'm going to put up a poll for this later too. Because if we just watch the live Fight Pass stream, I mean, that would be easy. We can call the fights that they put up there. They put up great fights. Or if it's ESPN or whatever, and you guys want to watch past fights, I'm 100% for that. Facebook watch party, Valley Trudeau. We can do Valley Trudeau. We can do Valley Trudeau right on here. I'm not worried about the copyright. And we can do Valley Trudeau tonight if you guys want. I'm not sure. It seems like people maybe are really busy tonight. We only got 4 people in here. I don't care if he doesn't agree with me. Yeah, not a lot of posts, but I do want to know what's going on with you guys. Has anybody gotten more hours? Anybody gotten more work on here since then? Has anything? Anybody had good experiences through this since we've started this quarantine? Any good came out of this? You think for any of you or your family, your neighbors, your town, your community, whatever it may be. I just watch on YouTube. Yeah, I just put it on YouTube. That's the thing. I can just put it on YouTube. I have the Valley Trudeau fights. I have some that aren't on YouTube too. They will be after I put them on, but I just don't know no other MMA promotion that is so damn money driven as the UFC. I hear you, Torin. I hear you. There's another one. There's Eris FC. They've signed some guys recently. They're saying they're looking to compete with the UFC. There's guys that have came over that said they're paying more than the UFC. Generally, that's been a recipe for disaster every time. I mean, except for the ones that were bought out by the UFC, they all went out of business. Affliction, Elite XC, all those that overpaid their fighters. So we'll see. I don't know where they're advertising. The only time I even see things about Eris FC is an article on MMA Junkie or SureDog. MMAfighting.com is a pretty good one. That's why UFC is top dog in all MMA, because they're money driven. And so is the NFL, I guess. So are a lot of the, I mean, it is a money sport. I do wish the UFC would give a larger percentage of the revenue to their fighters. And it is getting larger over the years. I mean, they grew it slowly. Now it's time to cut the check. Now it's time to cut the check for these guys. Absolutely. I'm going to check in. I got a couple stories that I had looked at, and I hadn't really memorized everything going in, so forgive me, but I think I'm just going to kind of... God, if I can figure out how to work this stupid phone without a home button. I think I'm just going to read through some updates. If you want to read with me, I'm going to start on SureDog. Because there are some updates. I talked about it. Dan Hardy coming back, former welterweight contender, went on a run, challenged GSP for the title, and then had some health conditions where he had to take a long hiatus. But he's coming back. He's in the USADA testing pool, and he's got some names. He's got some names of some gentlemen he would like to fight. So he has not fought quite some time. But he has become, if you guys haven't seen him, I know most of you guys have seen him. He does a lot of the international work. But damn, he has become a beast of an analyst. Does some great breakdowns and different things on YouTube. Guy's super smart. Really knows the game. Just never stopped studying. Guy was a UFC fighter, never stopped studying. He really doesn't. So Cub Swanson, let's talk for a minute. Let's talk about Cub Swanson. He had that surgery. Everybody was like, man, what's up with these grappling tournaments? Now Cub Swanson, he's got this injury. He's going to be out for a while. He's seeking a return in November from his knee injury. That may be about when he would have returned anyways. So if the timing could work out good for him on that, I guess it did. Definitely did. Veteran featherweight tore his ACL, of course, and meniscus during a grappling match with Jake Shields at Quintet Ultra this past December. For those of you who don't know, Jake Shields is much, much bigger, and I'm not sure why that match was going on. Jake did fight, he fought at 170 recently in PFL, fought against Ray Cooper and some other guys. Cub Swanson, of course, that guy's fought most of his life at 135 and 145. Jake Shields is a big-ass 170, though. The dude is huge. He's friggin' huge. But I'm glad he's recovering. That is tough, when you, especially in grappling. It can be even almost worse than striking when you have a big weight difference. He said, I think the biggest difference, this is Cub Swanson, about my comeback, is I had a date of around November, and there's nothing stopping me from that, Swanson said in a recent Instagram post. This whole thing, it really challenged me to stay focused. I look at it on the bright side, like I picked a great time to be injured. So I'm just, hell yeah, he did. So I'm just focusing on being at home with my kids and enjoying my time and knowing that I'll be back by November. If there's fights going on, I will be in them. I will be ready, and it will be better than ever. Of course, Swanson ended a 4-bout losing streak, recently winning a unanimous decision against Crone Gracie, which was an absolute killer fight, by the way. All of you who watched it, was most of you guys know that. You guys know it was absolutely friggin' amazing. Let's head back to the chat here for a moment, though. And I can hear some radio. I can hear the neighbors maybe in the background. But, God, I hate these phones without apps. Sorry, guys. Or without buttons. Want to stream during the NFL draft on the 23rd? Absolutely, man. I definitely want to do that. Reebok deal was the worst thing they have done. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that too. Bellator is on the same path as uniform gear for the fighters. Who are they going with? Did they go with a specific brand? That's sad to hear. Dana White got exposed by Brendan Schaub and Oscar. I don't know if he got exposed by Oscar De La Hoya. I do notice Brendan Schaub's backed off a lot, though, so I wonder if there were some words said. Before we get into other MMA stories, did you guys see the words Ronda Rousey had for WWE fans on Steve-O's podcast? She was rough on those fans. Said she wasn't coming back to wrestling. She wasn't enjoying it. Saying that when she was off, she never was off. She was either recovering from injuries or resting up to get back out there for the next show. She was doing all those things. I agree with that. But she had the chance to ask for a contract like Brock Lesnar did, which Brock Lesnar, I believe he only fights like, what, a couple times a year, once or twice a year he does WWE. She said she wanted the full schedule. So I would be more sympathetic for her if she had said that she just wanted to do a couple times and they pushed her into doing more. But that's not what happened. Jake weighed about 200, and oh my God, that is ridiculous in a grappling match. I'm sure I probably talked to you guys about this before, but when I was fighting 156 in high school, one of those same kinds of situation, we ran into, there was nobody in my weight class, nobody in several weight classes, because in the U.S. there really wasn't very many judo competitors at the time, only when we went to Canada. And the guy that I ended up going against, he cut to get to 185, and he looked like a huge 185. So he outweighed me by 30 pounds, and he got on top of me for a moment. I was coming off, simple bridge, bridged up, bridged off, and immediately I knew I was in trouble because I felt one of the worst pains I've ever had, and my rib had popped out of my cartilage. I know there's some fighters that have had those kinds of situations. That injury specifically, if you've ever popped your rib out of your cartilage, it is no joke. It was not good breathing for a while. WWE sucks the life. What's going on, Snake? Good to see you, my friend. I don't know if it's that real or not. Maybe she's playing heel. That could be. Yeah, it could be a work. I don't know why I didn't even think of that. Because I mean that's the game. Yeah, why would she come out and insult fans if it wasn't for just for the heck of it? She's can't be that dumb, right? I mean, I know she's blonde, but this is not just like a stereotype. Yes, Torn, I used to weigh 156 in high school. WWE isn't good anymore. It's boring now. I haven't watched much of it. Good buds, relaxing, having a beer, and sitting by a fire. Hey, what do you know? Me too, man. Me too, sir. AEW is not bad. I've heard some people like it. I'm going to have to check it out. Work is all about the game in WWE. NFL draft is going to be awesome. Been studying up for it for months. So stream will be fire, and want to give everyone else their chance to interact with us, asking about their favorite teams. Yes, cheers, cheers. Cheers, gentlemen. No ladies in here tonight, so I can't just say gentlemen and still be politically correct. Unless there's somebody hiding. And then jump out and call me a sexist. You've been waiting the entire stream to do it. I know you have. Just kidding. Jets, baby. Jets, 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 Jets. As JJ Smith. I just want to see my Seahawks return to their former glory. Pete Carroll. You know, coach a couple more seasons before he kicks the bucket. He's not a young man, but he's a lively one for his age. TNA used to be good. Jets will target offensive line in first round. They better. Yeah, I agree with you on that, Billy. Heard the Patriots are looking at Ty Tuvian guy from Bama. Yeah, I've seen some tape on that guy. He's a beast, man. Or a wideout, Billy. Pete is a hell of a coach, though. Oh yeah, I think so too. I might be a little biased, but let's talk a little more UFC, though. Somebody else who really cuts a break on this is one also known as, you know, now known as the Snake to a lot of people, TJ Dillashaw. TJ Dillashaw, of course, was suspended 2 years for EPO. He could walk right into a title shot. I've heard talks recently that Dominic Cruz also could be right there for a title shot, but I mean, depending on how the timing comes out, I would not like that. I think that sets bad precedent. You come right off the suspension and get a title shot. But he says He said that's what he expects. He wants to come in for a title shot or a title eliminator, and he expects that that should happen. We'll see. Two will be a Dolphin or a Charger. Wish the NBA would bring the Supersonics back. That was a good team, and plus I know Seattle misses their NBA team. Hell yeah, we do. I forgot about Dillashaw. That's what he wants, Pulse Reloaded. That's what he wanted. Killashaw will get it. You know, I gotta admit, I was definitely a fan of Dillashaw's fighting. Maybe not always his antics outside of the cage. But I'm not going to say I was completely surprised of when he got caught, but I mean, you know, if I'd have had to bet money, was the guy cheating or clean? I don't know. I don't know which way. I'm not going to say that I absolutely knew, because I didn't. You know, I thought it was possible that he could be clean. That cut to 125 was pretty suspect. But he looked, you know, he looked very sickly, which is what you would expect. Stir this thing up, give it some oxygen. Fires need to breathe just like the rest of us. And a little bit of devil spin, of course. Some more devil spin. Woo! There we go. At 135, not 125. Well, absolutely. Anything can happen in a few months. That's when his suspension is over. I thought he had about 8 months left, but maybe not. Oh, he took because the weight cut was killing him, he said. EPO is no joke. I'm wondering how many other fighters are doing it, though. I don't think he's the only one. I mean, I don't know of anybody. I mean, the rumors, of course, that I've heard, and I mean, you throw the rumor mill around there, but I will say there's one fighter that has not been tested a lot by USADA in the last couple of years, and that's the big one that I hear the rumors about, and that's Kamaru Usman. And I mean, I don't want to come out and out accuse him, but that cardio against Tyron Woodley, that seemed almost unhuman. Almost inhuman. I mean, that was some sick cardio. But his chin wasn't suspect, like Dillashaw's was. So I heard Alpha Male did it a lot. Snoozman. Yeah, he's not my favorite fighter to watch. He seems like such a great guy. He seems like a really nice guy, a really hard worker. I just can't get behind his fighting style. I mean, I hate to side with Colby Covington. I'm not really siding with him. But, I mean, Snoozman, not a bad nickname. Not a bad nickname. I mean, because, yeah, the guy's fighting style, it's not exactly exciting every time out. But, man, his fight, I will tell you this, though. That fight between him and Colby Covington, I would love to see number 2. That was maybe the best fight, one of the best fights for sure in the last year. I'd say one of the best 2 fights in the last year. That and Weili Zhang versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk, which, I mean, I know we're missing some fights now, but I'm pretty confident that that would maybe still be the fight of the year so far. Definitely the fight of the year up to this point in my mind. Usman is clean. If anything, I suspect Cejudo. Yeah, you know, I shouldn't accuse people when I don't know. And like I said, I'm not accusing him, but that's the rumors. You guys have seen the rumors out that people have spread. Like I said, I think Usman's a good guy. I don't know. I don't know about a lot of these guys, but I mean, talking to former fighters, I mean, I've had a lot of fighters tell me that basically there's nobody clean outside of the Diaz brothers. And then we even seen the controversy with Nate. Did you see Big John McCarthy talking about John Jones? He didn't have nothing bad to say about Conor, like he's a saint. If you're going to talk bad about Jones, you got to talk bad about Conor too. I am going to jump gears on you a little bit here, Torin, because John Jones has not done his due. Obviously, he has not handled quarantine well. And Connor, he's telling everybody over there to stay home, stay safe. He told Ireland to close their ports, which I agree with. He's donated a lot of money to first responders. Basically, just been really encouraging to first responders. And you guys know I'm no Connor lover by any means. Um, but give credit where credit is due. I mean, I think he's really stepped up and encouraged quite a few people from this, and he's really seemed like a different dude. Because he comes off none unique to me. When he does that. um, hey, he's free to hate Connor, and you're free to, uh, hate on him for hating Connor, or like Connor, or whatever, whatever suits your fancy, man. Let's go back to the news at hand, though. Good call, though, whoever that was about Ronda Rousey, the thing with Ronda Rousey about her doing that as a heel. So that's pretty cool. Jorge Masvidal in the news right now. Let's talk about Jorge Masvidal for a minute. Um, SureDog.com right now, the article is Jorge Masvidal quoted in saying price wasn't met for potential short notice fight versus Kamaru Usman. According to Jorge Masvidal, there was an opportunity for him to face Kamaru Usman at UFC 249. However, the financial terms weren't his liking. Oh man, I like Masvidal, but you get a chance at the title. I don't know what the financial terms were, but you get a chance to fight for the title. I don't know how much money they were offering him, but back in the day, you got a chance to fight for the title. When did everything stop being about the title? Just saying. There was a deal on the table. This is quoting Jorge Masvidal. There was a deal on the table, but when the full deal and the whole extent of it got brought through and how it was going to play out, the budget really wasn't there in a way they were asking. Masvidal recently told BT Sports. The price tag that I put out there, they didn't want to pay. This other guy, who knows if he was in or not, but my price wasn't met. And for the risk to reward factor, I wanted to get compensated, and the compensation wasn't really there. Well, I don't know what the compensation was, so I can't judge directly. Masvidal, he's definitely a big star right now. It's hard to argue that he's not one of the very biggest stars in the UFC right now. And to say that a fight with Usman is not a huge, huge risk, I mean, everybody knows it is. So here he says, we weren't too far off either. We could make it work in the future for a fact, Masvidal said. I think in July, I'll be beheading this guy for the whole world to see. Gamebred entered the title discussion, of course, on strength of 2019. What a year 2019 was for Jorge Masvidal. Victories over Darren Till, Ben Askren, and Nate Diaz. Really upped his stock, as we all know. And of course, there's fights scheduled for April 25th. That one's not going to happen. May 2nd, most likely not. Probably a month. It looks like we'll be getting UFC 249. I'm sure Dianne Feinstein's already writing her letter of intent on why grown men shouldn't be allowed to fight inside of a cage at their own discretion, but maybe she should stick to doing her job. I don't know, just my 2 cents. Not a big fan of that lady, but I don't think Jorge wins that fight. Didn't match his money. Oh, that would be me, sir, with Ronda. Good call, JJ. Didn't match his money. I don't think Jorge wins that fight. I think it's a very tough matchup for anybody. I mean, Jorge, he got that knee. He timed that knee well on Ben Askren. Um, how would that fight with Ben Askren have even gone? Obviously, we have no idea. It lasted just a few seconds. But I'm all about the fighter getting paid, but it sucks when money gets in the way of great fights. Absolutely. Wrestling. Hard to say who would win between Jorge and Snoozman. Um, I guess I would lean towards Usman if I had to bet. Um, I think Masvidal has a pretty good shot in that fight, to be honest, though. I certainly don't count him out. Certainly don't count him out. One last thing I want to, before my phone dies on the live stream, because it doesn't last as long. The battery just doesn't last for long sometimes on here. Um, what do you guys think? Daniel Cormier has said that he would like to take over for Dana White as president of the UFC. He says that's a very intriguing offer for him, and he doesn't know that he could pass it up. I don't know that it was being offered. But what are your guys' thoughts on that? Daniel Cormier as president of the UFC. Does he have what it takes? Could you groom him to be president? It all comes down to the ground game. I hope Jorge knocks out Usman. Yeah, me too. And it's not because I hate Usman. It's for one, I love Jorge, and I just like his style so much more. And do I lean striking? Am I a little striking centric? Sure. I like grappling when guys are active, though, not when they're laying. When they're constantly going for submissions, those matches when you get the transitions and guys are constantly changing position. One guy's got the advantage. Now the other guy rolls. The other guy's going for an armbar. The other guy's out. Now you're going for a triangle choke. Now one guy's got the back. He flips off, and the other guy's, he's got a Kimura to get up. Those are some of the most exciting fights out there. And I like those even better than striking matches because we don't see them as much. I'm happier to see one of those like Royce Gracie versus Kazushi Sakuraba, an hour and a half classic. Hour and 36 minutes, I believe. And so much back and forth in that fight. And we see what happens when Jorge fights good ground fighters. He can beat him when he gets taken down. Well, I mean, it was one shot. It was one shot. He timed him. He happened to time Ben to say that he's going to do that to Usman too. I mean, obviously Usman's kind of looking out for that now. That might have been a one-trick thing. I don't know. That would be genius. I would like to see DC in that role. All right. Could Ali Abdulaziz have an influence on decision making? On decision making? Wow. God, I hope not. That would be pretty horrible for the sport if a manager influenced judges. Is that what you're saying? Are you saying like decision, like the decision, like unanimous decision, split decision, on who wins, or decisions on who fights each other or where they fight? God, I would hope that he doesn't have judges in his pocket. DC would be better than Dana White. He would let Conor leapfrog and run the show like Dana does. DC would hopefully make Conor earn his title shot. If DC took president, DC click. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about him. I think he's certainly not the worst choice. He's very well spoken, seems to be pretty rational, seems to have a pretty level head. You're going to lose some of that aggression to make deals that you do with Dana White. He can make you excited about a fight. He's not going to make, personally, me, Daniel Cormier does not hype me up for a fight in the way that Dana White does. But I'm not the guy you need to hype up. When I see a card, when I see a matchup announced, I know whether I want to watch it or not. I mean, everything else is icing on the cake. Of course, I watch every single card, so I'm not a good example. But Dana White, that guy can sell some fights, man. Can Daniel Cormier do it in the same way? I mean, maybe you groom him. Dana's good at his job, dealing with a lot of egos. Man, I've been critical of Dana over the years, and through this, I mean, I'm not saying I want to apologize to him, but maybe I've been a bit hard a few times. I still stand by a few things. I'd like to see fighter pay be a little better. It's better in the UFC than other places, though. Basically, the one time that I really jumped on him is when he moved everybody um, from Las Vegas, I believe it was, to Los Angeles for the Jones Daniel Cormier. Was it Jones Daniel Cormier too? No, when he popped for the Picos, and they had to move everybody. And what I was upset about, basically the main thing I was upset about was, yes, the fact that fighters had to move, but really that the fans had to move, and that some fighters weren't even able to see the fight. That bothered me, and I don't know that that was ever really made right. Um, it's not that I don't like Connor, but people swear up and down he's the real deal. Dude took shortcuts. UFC needs Jim's raw. Any thoughts on that bitch that tried to extort Dana with the triplet? Not really. Not really. Snitches get stitches. And I've heard a few people saying that possibly that gets, in the medical field right now, that maybe stitches are a little low in supply right now. Maybe a few people are, out of their sewing kits, so maybe it moves up a little quicker to ditches. But no, I don't like people extorting people. I don't know what Dana did, but when you're extorting people for money, I don't know what he did. I don't know if he did anything. And if he cheated on his wife, shame on him, but that's his personal life. You're going to try to extort someone for money, though. Yeah, that's gonna really piss me off. That's 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 pretty shitty. Whether he did something or whether he didn't, and I mean, I'm not naive. Dana White, he's out. He's a rich dude. You know what? He's a rich dude. He's got beautiful women around